brain knows once you go down. You must be crazy if you think that I'ma slow down. Don't wanna hear it talking shit from the drama. Keep it coming, I'ma send you to your mama. Mr. Whip, 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 get the gun down. Dropping bodies.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Being a Fine Figure. G Topo here as always. As today we will be unboxing another Hulk Hogan figure. It will be the Mattel WWE Legends Elite Series 22 Target exclusive. And this is all Ichiban himself, which was Hulk Hogan, what he was called in Japan while he's doing his tour of Japan. I believe it was from 1980, 81 to 85 or so. Well, when he left the WWF the first time and before he came back, I guess he was still doing some WWF tours, dates and stuff. He also was in AWA from 81 to 83, but he was still touring Japan back and forth. And he was called Ichiban, which translates to the number one back then, very popular in Japan. And while he was there, he was also a very technical wrestler. So he didn't rely on power. He did moves. He knew what a headlock was and a wrist lock and so on. So he was very technical. He didn't use a lot of his power moves. But enough of that. Let's get this figure unboxing. Of course, you know, the Hulk Hogan mold. It's almost like the McFarlane Batman's. They just crank these Hulk Hogans, trying to get as much as they can out of the contract. But I appreciate this because I am a huge Hulk Hogan fan. I grew up on Hulk Hogan early, late 70s, early 80s. So I've been through, that golden age of wrestling, the Attitude Era, the PG era, and back to, the next generation too that was in there. But I have a pretty good Hulk Hogan collection, so this adds another one to my collection. But anyway, as we do here on the channel, we're going to get this unboxed, and I will be right back. All right, now that the figure is out of the packaging, we will quickly go over the accessories. And he does come with 2 sets of extra hands. He comes with the 2 fists, seen before. And of course, he's got 2 finger pointing hands. One of them is on his hand, there's the other. And then the mic holding hands, or the kung fu grip or holding hand. Now, at first I thought that this was a same mold that we've gotten before, but he just looks a little different, especially the upper body kind of looks a lot more muscular, more toned than the other ones. He does also come with these nice 70s, early 80s shades. At first I thought they were resembling the ones that they had for Superstar Billy Graham, but they're not. They're different. They look a lot thicker, as you can see. It's a nice looking touch. Now he did have these in the early 80s. I remember pictures of him with them on as a kid. And then the face sculpt, I think, let's fix the camera a little bit. It's a little different. I mean, it's a little bit more, I don't know, stocky, like a little bit more chunky as far as compared to other ones. Maybe put the light in here a little bit better. So he does look a lot younger. They did a good job. He's got the hair. He's got the, I think they're sideburns. Yeah, that was the sideburns there. It kind of gets covered up because of his hair. So he does have that early 80s hair starting to thin look. It's like almost like yellowish white type hair. But the upper body here looks a lot chunkier. I mean, if you, let's see a quick reuse mold somewhere here. Let me just pick, this is an ultimate, but I don't know if it'll do it any justice. But, I mean, see that? It just looks a lot chunkier. I don't know, let's take a look. Let's take let me get this one back over here. Let's take, it also comes with this cloth good shirt, which isn't too bad. But yeah, I think maybe it was just the way the shirt is. So shirt's a nice touch, but when it's on, it kind of looks like it's backwards because it pulls up and it's hard to get it down. But yeah, I think the upper body there does look a little different compared to other Hogans. So I don't know if they were trying to go for that young look, but they nailed it. I mean, it's all right. It's got the black trunk. Now, keep that in mind that this is the chase version of that of this figure. The other one had like the whitish, like dirty white type boots. I got the chase with the blue boots, so I was excited. They did have the other version, but I was like, I'll just grab the chase. I'll leave the other ones for the other collectors. I'm not that type of collector that grabs them all. So I did grab this version, the chase version, because I do like these boots better. They actually look better with the body, with the sculpt and the trunks and everything. And yeah, I'm digging the face. It is like a different sculpted face that we have gotten before from other figures, which we actually just get the same generic figure over and over again. Some tanner, some lighter. I mean, that's about the only difference with these. But the articulation is still the same. He does not have the butterfly shoulders, which is a figure they start putting on him. So I guess the Legends don't get that treatment anymore. And he does have that crank, which I don't really care for this type of crunch there. I like the other one that's on top of the ball. But, you know, Mattel doesn't really do too many of those. But he does have the normal, you know, swivel in the boots, swivel in the thigh, double jointed. Is this one also double jointed? Yeah. Double jointed knees and elbows, pinless, which is at least that's a good touch. And the trunks got the little Ichiban logo on them. But yeah, this is pretty cool. And he's not too tan. He didn't burn tan himself back in those days. But this is a nice touch. Actually, I think I will keep him with the shirt on, because he is, after all, the #1, or Ichiban. And that very bright, like egg wash yellow that they use for the hair. But yeah, I don't know, something about the shirt just looks weird. And his upper body looks like that's all he's been lifting for weeks. So, like I said before, I grew up on Hulk Hogan. I'm a huge fan of Hulk Hogan. You know, seeing him as a kid, I remember, you know, since he was a villain with Freddie Blassie and the Andre the Giant match, and you know, I remember him through the '80s and you know, Hulkamania run, and then going to WCW and NWO, and then coming back to WWF as NWO, and then coming back as Hulk Hogan. So, you know, you can not talk about wrestling without mentioning Hulk Hogan. You know, there's fitting that, you know, there's certain wrestlers that you associate. You know, for those of you born later in life, and, you know, if you mention them, they're quick to point out, you know, Stone Cold or The Rock, or so. Even the new generation now will probably eventually, you know, Roman Reigns and stuff. So the legacy of Hogan and what he did for the sport of wrestling, put it back on the map, made it, you know, right now you talk about wrestling being hot, you know, it was freaking scorching. It was a bomb back then in the 80s when it took off. You know, it was everywhere, cartoons, cereal. I mean, it was everywhere. So I grew up in that area, and I got to relive different eras of wrestling, and you know, in some form or another, Hulk Hogan was always part of it. So this is great, another edition. So it's great to have this version, because after all, I did, you know, about a month or so ago, maybe 2 months, I did pick up the heel Hulk Hogan. You know, the Freddie Blassie, evil, 1970s. 80 to just through the 80s version of Hulk Hogan 79, where he had Freddie Blassie as his manager, and then you have Ichiban, and then you've got like the WrestleMania Hulk Hogan, which this one's one of my favorites, the ultimate one here. You know, you got the Hulkamania with one of his first titles, not the first title. The first title was that green gold belt. This is the belt that was actually, I remember it was because I had the issue of Sports Illustrated when he made the cover. I remember I had that issue. I don't know what happened through the years after that. I don't know, my mom probably threw it away when I moved out. You know, we have several versions of Hulk Hogan. I also have the NWO version, which actually this version was the first. Back up a little. This is the first Hulk Hogan that I started collecting, that I got my hands on. Actually, no. It was the first Hulk Hogan after I started recollecting wrestling figures, because I had pretty much gotten rid of them. I sold them out. I wasn't collecting. I pretty much gave up on toys. I decided to come back again. And I started, you know, getting back in wrestling, which was my first love on the collection. And this was the second one after I used to have the Defining Moment Hulk Hogan. Yeah, stupid me. I ended up selling it. And I regret it, because I wish I had it back. But I got this version of it. And of course, you know, like I stated earlier, I do have the WCW Hulk Hogan. Another legend from Mattel, another Target exclusive. So it's great to have all these. Oh, I also have the Desert Storm. So I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll do a video on my, just like I did the Superman and Batman, on all my Hogans. I got more. I got plenty more. So I think I can crank up a good 10, 15 minutes of my Hulk Hogan collection and the storyline and the background on why I got those. And of course, I do have Mr. America somewhere, so he's here somewhere. But anyway, so that's it. So another Hulk Hogan added to the collection. Again, you know, they're like Batmans, you know, they crank up Batmans and Supermans and Spider-Mans, you know, their wrestling's version is cranking up Hogan's and John Cena's. I mean, we got tons of John Cena's and whatnot. And Roman Reigns, I mean, Roman Reigns figure right now, I mean, there's so many versions of it. I have a couple myself. So, you know, I keep the ones that I really like. I really don't care much for the secondary. I do have a lot of other more wrestlers, but I sold quite a few. I'm just keeping the ones that really like my childhood growing up, you know, in the 80s and growing up in the 90s and 2000s and stuff. Those like, you know, I got my Hogan, like I said, I got Stone Cold, I got The Rock, you know, wrestlers like that, you know, I really like that made an impact on wrestling. And, you know, you can't talk about wrestling without talking about those guys. So that will be it for now, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, subscribe, comment below. And as always, take care of each other, support each other, and continue to be a fine figure. And I will see you later.